Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Duck Chronicles. And as you can see, we have an outside goose. We also have an outside duck. That was not planned. She must have been late to come home last night. But you see this guy here. He was being a jerk last night, so he got expelled from the holding area, and he had to spend the night outside. We didn't really worry about predators too much. Max was out most of the night last night. And since we put up the electric fence and we have fried a fox a couple times, he's kind of stopped coming back anyway because he knows he can no longer get in. But the big news today is, I've been promising this, the babies are in the big kid's house. And you can see they're all kind of huddled up together there in the back. My instinct is when I let these guys out, they're probably not going to come out right away. Or you being a broody goose? Thought you guys were done laying. Have to see if you have one under you. Huh? You're on eggs. I bet they're duck eggs you're on. Huh? Let's see. Yeah, those are all duck eggs, you liar. Fibber. All right. We haven't had a release on camera for a while, so time for that. Let's see. Here comes everybody. All the big kids. Come on, guys. Come on, babies. All right, let's go motivate them. Come on, babes. Let's go. Time to head out. Go. This is exactly how I put them in last night. You know, they've been trained to be herded. I herded them every night to their own little house. Now they got to come to a different house, but the herding is the same. You notice how they just stick together? That's what I love about ducks. Come on, babies. Out and about. There we go. There we go. We got a goose call back. She's bawling out the mail. Where'd you go? You left me. He's over there calling for her. Come on, girl. You're not laying eggs. Let's see where the babies go. I bet they're going to head straight over to the food forest like always. I had a weird thing happen yesterday, folks. What's the matter? Are you limping? Oh, good gosh. I'm going to let you be. I'll check on you in a minute. We got a limpus there. I hope you got a sandburr or something. You're not going down like you guys were before. Anyway, I had a weird thing happen yesterday with yesterday's episode of the Duck Chronicles. I published it. And then something happened on YouTube, and it went from being 13 minutes to 13 seconds. Then it went back to being 13 minutes again. Then it went back to being 13 seconds again. And the last time I checked anyway, we're at 13 minutes. I'm going to call this one short today, guys. I got to go check on that duck that's limping back there and see how she is. But integration is complete. They're now part of the larger flock. All right, we'll just use YouTube Editor to splice things together. Every once in a while, you know, babies get running really fast and they kind of trip up on themselves, just out of fear. And that's what it was with her. She's back with everybody now. We'll get out of the way so everybody can enjoy their morning baths. And I've got to move the pools this morning. Remember, yesterday we put them back there. Today they're going to move up along that front. And tomorrow they'll move there, and then boom, they're going to the front yard. And babies, it'll be the first time you guys have ever been anywhere other than back here, won't it? Yeah, I see her right there. She's fine. You always worry about them, especially when you've had problems with them coming up. You know what, guys? Let's take a walk inside the aviary today and visit the quail. See if we can find token quail. The one white quail with all the brown quails who survived the purging of the A&M quails, and take a look at how everything's growing. I did a foliar spray in here yesterday with my my mix that I use, which is Garrett juice and liquid seaweed, liquid kelp actually. And you could see the rich color that my plants have. These are scarlet runner beans right here. Let me get in a little closer so you can see the leaves. That's a scarlet runner bean. They're just a really beautiful plant. They almost look like a honeysuckle when they start putting flowers on, but they put great beans on. And I've learned recently that they're perennial. We'll see if they're actually able to hold as perennials inside here. They will die to the ground when it freezes, but supposedly they'll come back from the roots. I've never grown them before. Little tomato cam. We got tomatoes set all over the place, and you can see how I've done that. I've wired wires down, drilled little holes in the rims of my stock tanks, get a nice solid piece, and then you can just get a little piece of wire like this to create a loop, train your tomatoes where you want them. I want to kind of talk about some of these squashes. These are a Hubbard variety of squash, a white Hubbard, really big fruits. We'll see what happens when they're hanging from there. I plan to pick most of them more as summer squashes. A lot of people don't know that you can pick a lot of winter squashes when they're young before they get really big, and you can use them like a summer squash. And they're immune to the vine borers, so we'll see how that works out. There's one there. So I kind of wanted to tell you what I'm going to do here. So the plan was to kind of come across like this, but you know, you've got, what is that, about 3 feet right there. Come around and back, that's 6 feet of vine. These vines get incredibly long. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to get up and put a couple hangers, I'm going to train it to the back, and then kind of swing it out, and then I'm going to bring it back across. It'll look really, really awesome. I'm sure the quail will appreciate it. We're starting to have sweet potato slips take. And again, the plan with that is we're going to grow the sweet potatoes around the rims of all of these tanks and down over and let the vine drape down. And whatever gets down to where the quail can reach, they can have it. Here's our 2 ebb and flow beds. The pepper back there looking good. Tomato looking really good. And that's why I've really had to start spraying, is I just don't have enough fish in the system yet. So I'm not getting enough nutrient in the ebb and flow beds, which is one of the advantages of the wicking beds. So you can see quite a few fish in there. We got a dead one. This is what you call free fish. These guys, we get these locally. These are just bluegills and green sunfish and things like that. And when you lose one, it doesn't really hurt very much. I bet we haven't lost any tilapia though, have we? Nope. You guys are looking good. Really, really good. So let me show you what we do when we get a dead pescado here. This we call nature's fertilizer spike. This plant looks like it could use a little bit of energy. Before I do this, let me show you something. You see this stuff here? This looks like fungus. That's what it is. And most people would be freaking out. Oh my God. This is fungus I actually introduced into the system. This is mycorrhizal fungi that actually has a symbiotic relationship with the plants. And all of these plants, when they were planted, had their roots inoculated with that fungi. And now you're seeing it form a fungal net. And I can actually feel right here the wood mulch kind of glued together by it. But what we're going to do, we're going to make us a little hole here right by the roots of this tomato plant. And we got our little fertilizer spike. See? He's a fertilizer spike. Boop. There he goes. And the worms will eat him, and he'll release nitrogen, and everything returns to the earth sooner or later. That's the way life works. So I don't see Token. There she is. Let's go see Token before we leave today. She's the one and only Texas A&M quail left in my system. The reason for that is simple. When I first went to quail, I got lured into this Texas A&M story about these white quail, and they had better meat, and they were bigger birds, and they laid bigger eggs, and they were wonderful. Well, I got them, and they were great. They were as good as brown quail. The difference was you couldn't tell male from female, and when I realized I was going to have to sit out here waiting for roosters to crow, run them down, catch them, and band them to figure out who was a rooster, I was like, that's enough of that, because the brown quail you can tell just by looking at their breasts. And you can see I got mostly girls, they have speckled breasts, but the red breast ones are males. So I decided that all the white quail were going to go in the freezer, And somehow that one managed to hide and get away. And so she made it through, and the brown quail I had introduced were about 5 weeks old, so they weren't old enough to lay yet. And that evening, I had one egg sitting in here. Well, that told me that old Token was a girl, and she would keep laying eggs. And once I knew that was the case, she got to stay. So she's the old bird in the group here. Seems to get along with everybody else. I've seen a lot of people have problems with quail pecking at each other, kind of bloodying each other in the head and all. These birds never have a problem with each other, probably because they have so much room. Anyway, we'll catch up with you probably next week, probably Monday with the next episode of the Duck Chronicles, and report to you on how the progress of the babies has gone.